Welcome back with gusto, passionate growth seekers. This is episode 4 of the Growth Mindset podcast, where we're striving together to continuously better ourselves. I'm your determined host, Roni, and I'm thrilled you have joined me once again. In our previous episodes, we covered core principles for developing an empowering growth mindset, as well as research-backed learning strategies to help you optimize and accelerate your improvement. Today, we are going to tackle the common yet conquerable challenge of procrastination, which can grind progress to a halt if left unchecked. Procrastination is a habit that most of us deal with at times, draining motivation and hindering our potential. The good news is, we have more control over combating procrastination than we realize if we use science-proven strategies. Consistent effort is required, but progress compounds. We'll get into specific techniques shortly. First, though, I want to share a bit more of my own journey overcoming procrastination. For many years, I profoundly struggled with procrastination, getting in the way of my learning, productive habits, and progress towards goals. I could recognize the problem, but found it difficult to change my counterproductive behaviors for any sustained period of time. It wasn't until I implemented small but deliberate optimizations to my mindset, habits, and focus on a daily basis that I gradually cultivated the skills needed to overcome procrastination. Tiny gains compounded into much bigger results over time. Now, my mission is to help shortcut your growth by sharing the science-backed tactics that have worked wonders for me. Your struggles absolutely can transform into strengths with the right incremental approach. All right, with great enthusiasm, let's dive into overcoming procrastination. At its core, procrastination is willfully avoiding important tasks that you know you reasonably should complete, often in favor of short-term pleasure or distraction. We put off mission-critical activities despite fully anticipating negative repercussions down the road. Procrastination essentially amounts to voluntarily delaying prudent action, often irrationally. We tend to engage in avoidance behaviors that provide temporary relief or gratification, but undermine our overall aims and well-being over time. Progress halts as we find excuses to postpone priorities. This differs from setting intentional rest periods or appropriate delegations of lower-value work. Reasonable breaks boost productivity long-term. The issue arises when procrastination becomes a chronic habit and we consistently prioritize trivial activities over meaningful pursuits, despite deeming our chosen tasks as worthwhile or obligatory. To successfully overcome ingrained procrastination tendencies, we must first diagnose their origins. There are several key internal and external factors that typically contribute to procrastination, including difficulty with impulse control and emotional regulation, undervaluing future rewards over instant gratification, fear of failure or perfectionist anxieties, stalling, starting lack of energy, focus, or general motivation in the moment. Poor organizational skills and time management abilities, insufficient structure, prioritization, or sense of urgency, ambiguity about goals and next actions, distractions or competing priorities, dividing focus, task aversion, resentment, or lack of fulfillment. General lack of discipline and self-control. It's also crucial to recognize how procrastination manifests uniquely for each of us, based on our personalities and contexts. For example, someone may use social media as an avoidance outlet, whereas another binge watches shows to delay work. Take an honest personal inventory and precisely diagnose your tendencies. This builds self-awareness, the first step to changing behavior. Fundamentally, procrastination feeds on doubt, anxiety, impulse, and ambiguity. But growth and achievement require tolerating uncertainty and discomfort for meaningful returns. By focusing on process over product, we build the skills to persist. All right, now that we have built foundational knowledge about the causes and costs of procrastination, let's get into pragmatic strategies to overcome it. Fortunately, behavioral science reveals many effective tactics we can implement to take back control of our time and trajectory. Small, consistent optimizations make a monumental difference compounded long-term. The goal is not to eliminate breaks or leisure altogether, which are important, but to become more intentional about when we engage in them. We want to remove harmful procrastination around meaningful priorities. Here are 12 research-backed strategies for overcoming procrastination. Identify your unique motivations and attach them to goals. Connect your why to the desired behavior change. Genuine purpose fuels perseverance. Use temptation bundling by pairing an indulgence with a chore. For example, listen to a favorite podcast only while at the gym. This incentivizes starting. Micro-commit to working for just 5 minutes. Removing friction is key. Momentum often builds after getting started. Set public commitments or find an accountability partner. Knowing others are watching helps drive follow-through. Point-of-no-return commitments like purchasing tickets or equipment lock behavior in. Sunk cost fallacy can boost motivation. For long-term goals, focus on immediate mini-milestones. Break overwhelming tasks into digestible pieces. Use the fixed interval reinforcement tactic with predictable timed rewards. Analyze thought distortions that justify delaying. Challenge irrational beliefs. Remove procrastination cues and design optimal spaces. Environment influences actions. Boost energy and reduce stress through exercise, sleep, and healthy eating. Depleted willpower fuels avoidance. Use the 2-minute rule for small tasks. Action momentum builds. Remember that progress is better than perfection. Done is better than perfect. The key is consistency applying these bite-sized optimizations. Like seeds, small gains eventually grow into massive results. But we must nurture our skills daily. For instance, I boosted my gym consistency by buying a pack of workout classes up front. The sunk cost made me feel I had to go. Over time, I associated exercise with feeling energized, making it a sustainable habit. But it started with marginal wins. Let's continue building our anti-procrastination toolkit with advanced strategies. Here are several more advanced tactics for defeating procrastination, stemming from behavioral science. Use implementation intentions and if-then planning to trigger actions automatically when conditions are met. For example, if it is Monday at 8 a.m., then I will work on my project for 60 minutes without distractions. This forms habits. Pre-commit to processes rather than specific outcomes. Focus on sticking to the regimen, not getting results. Outcomes are not fully in your control. Stay focused on executing tasks properly. Practice meta-awareness and self-talk. Notice procrastination urges arising without judgment. Label the distraction or temptation, but don't necessarily act on it. Just observe. Predetermine boundaries and decision rules to contain impulsiveness. For example, set a budget for frivolous spending or hours allowed on entertainment. Batch similar tasks to create productive rhythms. Build routines and momentum versus tackling items randomly dispersed. Gamify your habits and process to motivate progress. Set up a point system, levels, rewards, friendly competition, etc. Deconstruct feared tasks and face discomforts in small increments to build tolerance. What we avoid controls us. Systematic desensitization, lessons, avoidance. Leverage the Zygarnik effect by stopping tasks in the middle. Unfinished work nags at your brain, creating motivation to complete it. Practice strategic laziness or productive procrastination on lower priority tasks. Conserve willpower for what truly matters most. Of course, there is still infinitely more to learn about the nuances of psychology and best practices for overcoming chronic procrastination. But mindfully implementing even a handful of these strategies will put you firmly on the path to meaningful progress. Stay engaged and build momentum. Now let's cover several overarching principles and mindsets for defeating procrastination at its roots once and for all. Fundamentally, procrastination forms due to some combination of dubious perceived value of tasks, uncertainty of objectives or steps, and friction associated with getting started or staying focused. But by instilling key principles and mental models into your belief system, you can dismantle these mental barriers and finally gain traction. Progress over perfection. Done is better than perfect. Release attachment to specific results. Focus on your inputs and process. Let go of outcomes beyond your direct control. Micro wins. Cultivate macro results. Tiny, incremental gains compound into massive progress over time through consistency. Momentum builds. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Discomfort today enables growth tomorrow. Pushing past the initial pain, reluctance, or confusion of a difficult task allows learning and expansive future benefits. What we avoid controls us. Face discomforts head-on. Balance counts. Unstructured leisure is necessary in sustainable regimens. But too much is a slippery slope towards apathy and avoidance of responsibility. Be intentional about when you indulge. Structure liberates, providing routines, systems, and productive constraints paradoxically increases perceived freedom and reduces anxiety. Find optimal scaffolding strategies. Value roots over fruits. Focus on cultivating the skills, processes, and mindsets that yield rewards over chasing superficial validation or acknowledgement. Water the roots through intrinsic motivation. Environment molds behavior. If you want consistent results, shape conditions for them to arise naturally by removing procrastination cues and designing optimal spaces. Don't rely on sheer willpower alone. Progress, not perfection. Holding yourself to unrealistic standards is an endless hamster wheel draining energy and stalling action. Release the inner critic. Know when good enough suffices so long as you are moving forward. By cementing these principles as the bedrock of your belief system through regular reflection and practice, you cultivate the optimal mindset and mental resilience to defeat procrastination for good. The struggle will continue, but progress compounds. Again, your inputs determine your outputs. All right, let's now discuss ways to catch and course-correct procrastination when you do slip back into unproductive avoidance habits. Despite our best efforts, there will inevitably be times when you succumb temporarily to procrastination's tantalizing grasp once again. This is completely normal, given the deep neurological grooves underlying such habits. Don't judge or shame yourself. The key is having premeditated strategies to rapidly recognize backsliding when it occurs, halt unproductive behaviors with self-compassion, and promptly return focus to important priorities before too much time or progress is lost. Here are effective tactics for getting quickly back on track after procrastination rears its head. Implement a distraction blocker or app that alerts you when visiting sites unrelated to work. Just seeing the notification helps snap you back. Set timers throughout your workday at strategic intervals to pause and evaluate if you are on task. Check your recent browser history. Are you avoiding? Scan your workspace and computer desktop. Is clutter accumulating? Misplaced papers are signals of neglecting priorities. Handle mail and files immediately when they appear. Notice bodily cues. Are you slouching, tapping feet, or clenching muscles? Physical agitation often correlates with mental frustration from evading work. Track your time diligently. Software like Rescue Time provides neutral data about how you actually spend your hours. Creating transparency is key. Commit to transition activities before indulging rewards. For instance, put shoes on before relaxing on the couch to strengthen stimuli associations. Set up accountability check-ins. Share your goals and have a trusted friend follow up on your progress. External validation keeps you honest. Publicly post your commitments on motivation sites like stick.com. Campaigns with monetary penalties amplify accountability to stay on track. Notice emotions arising before and during procrastination urges. Label feelings like boredom, anxiety, or resentment without reacting. Meta-awareness helps you recognize traps. Clean or organize your space when avoiding difficult tasks. Channeled constructively, restless energy can remove obstacles to productivity. Of course, catching yourself procrastinating will never come naturally at first. You must vigilantly monitor your behavior and thought patterns to recognize backsliding. But mindfulness and persistence pay off tremendously over time. By promptly identifying procrastination and recalibrating when it occurs, you avoid losing yourself for hours or days down unproductive rabbit holes. Nip diversions in the bud. But take setbacks in stride, then recommit. All right, my determined friends, let's summarize the wealth of insights we covered today regarding scientifically overcoming procrastination for good. We first defined what procrastination entails at its core: voluntarily delaying important tasks despite knowing the negative consequences. Underlying reasons range from lack of motivation to poor time management. We then explored pragmatic strategies, advanced tactics, and transformational principles substantiated by behavioral science research to conquer procrastination and sustain unwavering focus on what truly matters most to your growth and fulfillment. Small, consistent optimizations generate immense compounded results over time. The goal is building incremental momentum. With the right combination of intentions, energy, purpose, and structure, defeating procrastination is absolutely within your control. Implement just 1 or 2 strategies for a few weeks, then layer on more. Before you know it, you'll have crafted sustainable habits and systems, rendering procrastination obsolete rather than a menacing drain. But remain vigilant. I hope this episode provided value in equipping you with science-based skills to overcome procrastination. If you gained any useful insights, please pay it forward by sharing with others who may benefit. Leaving a review is also greatly appreciated. Stay focused and be proud of any progress made, no matter how small. Consistency over time is key. I believe in you. Join me next week when we will be discussing step-by-step strategies for building positive habits and breaking negative ones. This is foundational to cementing extraordinary procrastination-proof regimens day after day. Keep taking those small but heroic steps forward, onward and upward always. This is Ronnie signing off for now. Never stop striving to bring your best self to the world. The struggle makes us stronger. Till next time, keep expanding your potential one day at a time.